To call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners for January 28, 2013 to order. And the first item on the agenda is open with prayer. Is there anyone here from the Ministerial Association? Okay. All stand and we will do the pledge of the flag then. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first thing we have is bid opening for the Triple S project. Greg, what do we have for quotes?
Yeah, three bids this morning.
Kathy just wanted you just want the total, basically, right?
Yes, and the name of the company, please.
You just want the base bid, not the alternates?
No, you can get both.
You could read the base bid or the alternate bid?
Well, she said both, so it's clear here.
All right.
This bid is a proposal of RO Construction with a base bid of $560,000. Alternate one, $60,298. Alternate two, $10,850. Alternate three, $47,400. Also a check included in the bid. Okay, the second bid here is from the Leo Brown Construction Company of Logansport. The base bid amount is $791,500. Alternate one is $135,500. Alternate two is $109,500. Alternate three is for $14,500.
I have the bid from Fredericks Incorporated. The base bid is $664,500. The alternate one, which is septic system, is $82,874. Alternate two was $138,000. And alternate three, which is railing, was $14,000.
Okay, do we have a motion to take these bids under advisement, and the bid acceptance will be scheduled for a meeting a week from today, which will be February 4th at 9 o'clock. So right here in this same room.
I'll make a motion, we accept these bids, present them for advisement, and have the bid letting 1 week from today, February the 4th.
A motion second on the floor to take the bids under advisement for review, and then schedule a bid acceptance and hearing on February 4th at 9 a.m. in this room. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Greg, Kathy needs a copy of these to take with her this morning, so maybe someone could take care of that a little bit or something. Kathy, did you have any comments before you leave?
No.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Payroll.
Lindsay. Where is it?
These totals are gonna include the big system, which is for the 3 members of that, about $450 extra. But the total payroll for
What three,
February,
no, wait a minute. For what 3 members?
for you, Jason, and Dee. The total payroll for February 1st, 2013 is $127,549.54.
What did you say the total was? 129, what?
127,549.
Oh, okay, so that big sister is included.
It's included,
No, I really question.
I'll make a motion, we accept payroll for February the 1st. Check there, that is, an amount of $127,549.54.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to accept the payroll, check date February 1st, in the amount of $127,549.54. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Derek, can you give me a quick explanation of this?
What that is. Yeah, this is the top. This is the top chart.
So it changes data.
Well,
Or it can't change the data.
it'll one more.
So this line right here is just what?
If they are an employee here anymore, they get paid off that.
So this would be this total would be the county's obligation if
If every single one of
we
them got.
closed up the county.
Yep.
Claims?
The claim amount is $154,475.23.
You have a copy of it in here. Does that include the $2,000?
Without it.
Got any questions on this?
It's a separate claim, sort it out.
I make a motion, we pay claims docket date 128 in the amount of $154,475.23.
Motion second on the floor to pay the claims for January 28th in the amount of $154,475.23. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
We also have 4 bonds that we've received back today for Linda Altair, John Moses, Jason Henderson, and Mike Klein, which need to be approved and signed, and then will be recorded.
I thought we were approving the bond, didn't we?
We
You
approved the
approved the
payment.
payment. And now we have the actual bonds, which you will sign, and will be recorded.
All right. I move we accept the bonds for John Moses, Linda Altair, Jason Henderson, and Michael Hunt.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor then to approve the bonds as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do we have
Take care of this.
Do we have a yea or nay? Okay. Motion carries.
Signed.
Right,
Right
name.
below. You take care of that. Want to do it on each one?
How's this?
Much better.
Cameron, Steve, whatever he wants to do. You said it was optional, if you sign that.
Okay. Optional if I sign that.
We had a separate claim for Debbie Travis's bond payment to be paid, and it wasn't paid with the last batch, because we received it late. So I went ahead and paid it to avoid a late fee or risk of her bond being canceled. It was $105. So I just need to approve it after the fact.
So is it in this?
No, I've already paid it.
What funds it coming out of?
It came out of the official bonds out of your guys' budget. where everybody else
We
is
have,
at.
we have enough money there. Good.
And it was $105.
That's a surety bond.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve Debbie Travis's surety bond in the amount of $105. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the last thing I have is the Star One for $2,000. We need to decide where we want to pay it from.
Where have we been paying that from?
That was one that was paid by the RDC in error. You guys had approved to correct, and the city is paying half. So now we need to decide where you want to pay it from.
So it's a $4,000 charge
It's $2,000.
that the city's gonna pay half?
I'm withholding $83.33 out of distributions as a part of the local agreement to reimburse the county for the $1,000.
So we're just gonna write the check.
We pay the full amount.
The money you're withholding is going into Fund 557, and
I will make sure that it should.
okay, and then that money, we only have so much edit money is appropriated. So we have to decide which fund, if we're gonna pay it out of edit money, we have to decide which fund we're gonna pay it out of first.
What's 557?
That's it. That's
557 is total edit money.
You can reimburse edit?
I will have fun.
Yes, we have before.
Okay, well, I think it's gonna find out, so I think, I wouldn't wait you to, a lot of things.
We need to decide which project we want to pay it out of, if we pay it out of that cost.
Well, you told me 2 weeks weeks ago, there was $65,567 left in Project 52, which I assume there probably hasn't been any.
$67,000?
That was before the new appropriations.
Okay.
For the rest of the year.
At the end of the year, that money went back into unappropriated money at 557. So we have $87,000 in Project 52 starting this
It's
year.
committed.
That is committed to LEADA.
Apparently then there was about, what was the additional appropriation? Because
It was whatever the council had agreed to appropriate to that fund.
All right, 'cause you-
Project for this year.
you told me Friday there was 152,000 in Project 52 presently.
Okay.
That's what's showing, where they appropriated, the new appropriations all went
The
in.
new appropriation was 87. I mean, they gave us $500 and some thousand appropriated for edit dollars. It is up to us to decide what projects that $500,000 goes to. And in our capital improvement plan, we had $87,000 allocated in Project 52. And that money is totally committed to the LEADA.
We didn't have an additional 10,000 on that 87, did we? Was
Yes.
it For 13?
We could have.
Well,
It's
Current-
all in financials.
apparently the funds gained $87,000 in the last 2 weeks, so.
It's an accounting error.
Maybe a correction.
Do we want to pay this out of our economic development? Do we want to pay it out of the bond project?
Well, I wouldn't pay it out of, I wouldn't be in favor of paying it out of 52.
Okay,
But I would be in favor of paying it out of, if I'm correct on this, 47 is the bond payment.
correct.
You're sure?
No.
Glad I asked the right question.
Correct.
All right.
Is that correct?
I don't like doing these things twice. Well, anyhow, 47 is for the upsides of the wastewater utility.
That is it. Okay.
And here's the payment schedule on it. I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that that was the 2008 bond.
Yes, that is the 2008 bond. That's what.
And I'll ask again, you're sure?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is Project 47. And I agree that is the project number this expense needs to come out of, because that is that expense.
Now, we may, because this is probably appropriated out to the penny, because
Yes.
it's a specific project, and she
Yes.
may end up, excuse me, $2,000
So we need to
short
transfer.
on the final payment.
So we need to transfer $2,000 from one of our other project numbers into Project 47, and then we can authorize the payment.
I don't think we have to today.
It's due February the 1st.
Yes,
So
but
I-
the project, no, wait just a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a motion, we transfer $2,000 from Project 54 into Project 47.
Project 54 is highway.
Yes,
Why do you think it ought to come out of highway?
that's one that's got money that's not spent yet.
Well, then I could use the same argument. On 47, there's $90,857 that's not spent yet.
And it's all committed. We can spend it, transfer it, no, we, okay, we can spend it.
We can spend it now
Sure.
and then transfer $2,000 in later.
I will rescind my motion. Go ahead and make one pay that on Project 47.
Okay, see, she didn't. We don't have a payment due there. We got $43,128.13 due on 6/15.
Correct.
So there's one, all right. Then I move that we,
This one, has it mutually out project.
Yes. And I'd like to move that we pay this project 47.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor, then pay this payment of $2,000 to Star Wealth Management. It's for bond management. And it will come out of project 47. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll sign it back in the thing, and I can write a new report when I correct it.
I guess my only question is, when you get your reimbursement from the city, I guess it'll all go in the pot. It probably won't specifically go back to 52. It will probably go back into the appropriated total.
It goes in the unappropriated too.
Well, it would be appropriated total, but that wouldn't be specifically to a project.
It will go into the unappropriated dollars left in Fund 557.
Yeah, but see, to me,
Let's discuss this.
well, unappropriated and then committed are two things. They're all appropriations of council term.
Right.
Okay. So I think we're talking about the same.
Yes. Uncommitted, but unappropriated by the council.
The only reason I argue with you about appropriations, very sticky term with county council.
Appropriation is a term, Joe, appropriation is a term that became very familiar in the last 2 years with dealing with our council.
Thank you, Lindsay. Brett?
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't have a lot for tonight. We have 2 new employees that we hired. First one is Brandon LeMay. He's our full-time employee. The second one is Dave Funky, which is the part-time new employee that we hired. These aren't additional employees, they are replacement employees. Second thing, I have a brush chipper demo Thursday. To go along with the rest of the brush chipper deal that we've talked about. There's no permits or anything at this time. The only other thing that we're doing is, as far as trying to prep for the oncoming weather and stuff, is just preparing road closed signs. Sounds like we'll probably need high water signs again. So we're making sure all the lights are working and trying to stay ahead of the game a little bit.
I had a guy ask me where we were on berm cutting. He called this morning, he was on 500 South over on the east side, and he was talking about the water stand in the road. I wonder.
We are way behind on berm cutting. We need to do a lot of that.
Yeah, well, I knew that we were going to do it last fall, and we didn't because we had equipment problems.
Yes, yeah, the dirt loader.
Are we getting that solved, or what?
That's something we probably need to talk about, is that dirt loader. What we done last time we cut dirt, we used the payloader and the backhoe after we windrowed it with the road grader. That works, I mean, and it is cheaper than probably either fixing or replacing the dirt loader. But the trouble is, it packs a lot of dirt on the road that we normally don't put on there with the dirt loader. Because the dirt loader, you're picking it up in one pass and you got the broom running behind you sweeping it off. With the payloader and the backhoe, you're going back and forth several times over the dirt before the broom gets to it. So you've stuck a lot more dirt to the road. So it's probably something we need to discuss a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it today, but it's when the weather breaks.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of depends on what your work schedule is. That's normally
Yeah.
after the roads are all repaired and chip and seals done, isn't it? Normally, isn't that a project you do later in the summer or
Yeah,
the fall?
usually in
rather
the
than
fall.
spring?
It's best if the road gets a chance to cool down some, so we don't disturb it so much, because when that chip seal's hot, it doesn't take anything at all to mar it.
What would be the possibility of using a slinger and cutting the berms and throwing it back in the field?
It's a possibility.
I talked to Larry about that last year, and the problem with that was landowners. The farmers don't want that.
Some of them don't
Rock,
like that.
the majority of the farmers that he talked to don't want it slung into the fields.
But they do also make them that has a chute on them that you can load trucks off of.
Yes.
That's something to look into.
Well, when
also.
you get in front of a residence or something, when if you were gonna cut the berm in front of a house, you're not gonna sling it in their yard, so you have to do something
Yeah.
with it. That's something we need to talk about.
Yeah.
While we're talking, Brett's got that chipper coming in on Thursday. We're talking about taking these pear trees that are so messy on the sides of the courthouse. He said if we would want him to, he could try it out, test it on these trees.
If you do all those trees, looks like you're buying it instead of just demo. If you're gonna do one tree,
Works for me.
demo for several years.
We'll bring it back.
And if anybody wants to come in and test it out for themselves, and we'd be willing to accept the help.
Are you ready to commit to cut some trees down?
We never did get anything back from Mike, did we? But as far as these on the east and west side, I don't have any problem making that decision, I think.
And he said he would do it if we would go out and put a big X on the trees.
As long as you mark them in some way so that we know that we're definitely getting the right trees and not the wrong ones.
So you want to walk with me and we'll mark the trees?
I guess I can, but I certainly leave that up to your discretion.
That's fine too.
There's what, 6 on each side, I believe. There's 4 and then there's 2.
Basically, these that we had all the bird problems and the pears, a mess on both east and west side of the courthouse.
This side will be a little easier to maneuver with traffic and things like that than
Yes.
what the other side will.
Highway department's used to traffic.
That's right.
So I'll make a motion that we allow them to test out, cut the trees down on the east and west side that we designate as removed.
Second.
We got a motion second on the floor to allow the highway department the privilege of cutting some trees for us on the east and west side of the courthouse that will be marked. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Brad. Anything else?
How about that?
When's this chipper coming from?
Thursday.
How long's this demo period?
Well, I don't know, make it a little longer now.
Does the manufacturer bring in labor to demo it, or?
I'll talk to him about that.
That's all you can get, I guess.
Now, this is also weather permitting. I assume Thursday won't be too awful bad. Okay. Thanks.
Actually cold.
Yeah, cold's okay.
Single digits.
Cold's better than rain.
Bill?
Good morning.
Morning, Phil.
I sent you the report on Thursday. The first thing to talk about is the Tipton landfill and the agreement by Cardinal ATC and Associates to continue with the groundwater monitoring and methane monitoring. As my report showed, last year that agreement was for $26,312. This year it's for $28,116.50, an increase of $1,804.50. The main reason for that is because every 4 years out of the landfill, we have to do an enhanced group of testing for this, what they call assessment monitoring. And all of that cost is mainly in the cost of PACE laboratories to test for this enhanced group of chemicals. Therefore, after looking at that and talking with them, I felt that their agreement was fine, that they're doing everything they've been doing in the past. So it would be my recommendation that the Board of Commissioners approve this agreement for $28,116.50. And I have a full copy of the agreement for anyone who would like to look at it. And then I have the proposal acceptance form page that will be signed by the President of the Board.
Do we have that increase amount in our budget?
We should. We typically budget somewhere around $58,000 for both the groundwater monitoring, methane monitoring, and the wetland treatment operation and maintenance. And I think then there's a few extra dollars for some other things. So we shouldn't have a problem with having enough money in the it's going to be close, but we'll be fine. And this is a not to exceed figure as well, too.
Okay. Is that a contract or just agreement, or?
It's an agreement. Well, yeah, it's an agreement.
For how much?
$28,116.50.
And that's with whom?
Cardinal.
Cardno ATC. CARDNO. And that's who purchased ATC.
Okay, I will make a motion we enter into the agreement with Cardno ATC in the amount of $28,116.50 for the landfill monitoring.
Yeah, groundwater monitoring,
Groundwater
and methane monitoring.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the floor to enter into this new contract with Cardno ATC to monitor groundwater at the landfill and methane. And the new total is $28,116.50. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
All three of those copies. Once I get those signed, I'll have, Cardno needs to sign them, and I'll give everybody their copies. And they won't, their first methane monitoring will come about April or March or April, so we're going to get it scheduled on this. Next, I sent you the information on the County Road 560 West project. I sent you a quarterly reporting form. I did print one for each of you just in case.
It was a big money for this.
It's not, they'll want it in September.
September? And they're gonna want how much in September?
It's hard to say. Well, it could actually be after that, could be October when they bid the project. But it should be the combination of this number, the 306, plus this 156,000. Now, the problem, and I just realized that when I was looking at it, this is not enough money of federal dollars for them. So I'm going to submit a request as soon as I can to have additional about $120,000 of federal dollars for construction inspection, which will reduce this down to about $40,000 on our side. So about $350 is what.
So we're gonna need $350,000.
Correct. Now, one of the things I've been thinking about to help come up with that number is it is possible to borrow that money from Hume Bridge, which we do have a little bit of money in there. And then, let's say you borrow $250,000 out of Hume Bridge and you've got $100 so set aside from head of funds or however we're going to do it, or highway funds. And then over the next 3 or 4 years, pay that back.
We have the money in our 557 line, but we have to be prepared to ask for the additional appropriation because the council, last year cut our appropriation. So we just need a good warning so we can ask for the additional appropriation of the added dollars in order to pay for this fall. And it takes 60 days, basically, we need to count on to go before the council to ask for the
And
ditch.
if that's the case, I'm sure we can work with NDOT to do it. Or, in the other option is, we could quickly take it from Cume Bridge if we needed to, and then we'd have the same issue. We'd have to appropriate it.
I don't see any problem getting it, we just accept the time constraint.
You know, we asked for it, the total amount, they denied that, gave us a lesser amount, and just said, come back and ask for it, so that's the approach we'll use.
And that, the money that's shown there is actually, it's whatever the bid comes in at. I think the construction estimate total.
535. Well, yeah, we don't have it down there.
Construction is 1.5 million.
And then
If the construction cost, if, let's say someone bids it at 1.3, 1.2 million, then those federal dollars are still there. And they could shift some of them, but whatever the construction dollars is, we're only going to be required to pay 20% of that, whatever that construction cost is. So if it's 1.2, it's less money.
So there's no match on the federal side, or there's no limit on the federal side?
There is a limit. Right now, whatever the total at the bottom where it says federal limit, that's what we can't go up against. I mean, once we go over that, we have to ask for additional money. That's why I need to go back.
Where it says awarded federal funds?
Yeah.
So that's
right now.
a done deal?
Yeah, but that's where I'm gonna go back and show them, we don't have enough for construction inspection at this point in time. Now, they may say, well, hey, let's wait till, see what comes in on the construction, or the cost of the construction, then we'll deal with it, but
And what was that number you thought you'd need in September?
around 350,000.
And what have you drawn to date of the 20%?
It would be everything up above construction on there, which would be all the design and right-of-way stuff.
The 73, 30, and 43
Yes.
has already been.
That would have been drawn, the county will be paying that, and then we'll be getting reimbursed as well.
So then the only other expenditure would be the 156, which would be our part of the construction engineering, that you said that may escalate some.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna try to lower our number on that. Because, like I said, I think we need to try to get some additional dollars. I don't see it as an issue right now. It would only be about $120,000 I would ask for,
So if the project came in at that 1.56, our total commitment, doing all is roughly 312,000 additional total.
All right. And we have $334 in project 56.
There was no money encumbered for 2012 in that fund.
What was there before the end of the year? 356?
There was 100,000 or more.
Well, Lindsay gave me the 356. That's what's shown in the line. So I guess we'll just have, I've got to take her word for it at this point.
We'll talk about it. I'll show you where we're at on the capital improvement plan.
We don't have to worry about it today. We just need to be ready for September, October.
we'll continue to endeavor to get this worked out. County Road, or the Tipton County Bridge 8, both parcels, the right of entry forms have been signed by Overdorf Farms and by Jerry Smith. That's fine. So, and we are on schedule to bid that on the 25th. And like I said, Sherry is going to ask for the additional appropriation for Bridge 61, which is kind of a 400 north over Irving Creek. Any questions for me? Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Jackie?
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't have anything written for you today. I'm going to be pretty soon putting my final report together for you. We're getting real close to the expiration. I've worked on the drainage funds, and I have a spreadsheet that I'll be giving some recommendations to the county on what they need to do to get those funds going. And moving forward, I'm working on payroll. We've got some entries where money has been withdrawn from the bank for the payment of taxes and deferred comp that we need to get into the ledgers, and I'm working with Derek on that today. And the only fund that I have left is Operation Pullover. I received information from the state last week, and I haven't had the opportunity to go through all of the EFTs looking for those from the Criminal Justice Department to clear up the Operation Pullover Fund, and that will be my last thing. So probably at your next meeting, I'll have a final report for you of where we are, what we've accomplished, and you know, some recommendations moving forward.
Okay. Is there anything, questions? Okay. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Not much. We have 29 inmates. Jumped over capacity again real quick. What I need to get is the permission to go ahead, and I'd like to purchase one Chevy and 2 Fords with the money that was allotted by the council to me last year, or for this year's budget, and trade in the 2005 Black Tahoe and another Impala, and just have that taken off.
Did the Ford have a competitive bid against the Tahoe?
Yes. The Explorer was 26, I think like 420 something. No, 26, 779 or something like that. The Tahoe was 27.
I think those numbers still are in the minutes. Aren't they, Greg? Yes, they are.
There should be in there. Oops, I didn't bring it with me. And yeah, I don't want to do the lease to own through Ford. Not the way that their interest rate is. What we do is go to the credit union, we get a lump sum, make 3 payments over the 3 years, and we own the vehicle. The $27,000 Tahoe had a less payment than the $26,000 Explorer through Ford. So I'd like to do them all that way, like we've done in the past. And we don't have the dollar buyout at the end or anything. Once we make the 3 payments, it's done.
You've got the money appropriated in this year's budget already.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's your recommendation that you buy from a Ford front-wheel drive for $23,282.
Nope, it's the all-wheel drive, I think.
The all-wheel drive at $24,282.
Yes.
And Explorer, or a Tahoe for $27,000. And an Explorer front-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive. I think that's
Like 2 all-wheel drives or 1?
2 from Ford. They're all-wheel drive. The Tahoe is only a 2-wheel drive.
Okay, so you're going to buy 2 all-wheel drives at $24,282.
No, they think the Explorer is like 26.7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but it's listed in here.
Yeah, four-wheel drive Tahoe or Explorers.
All right, it's
26,788.
So the Explorer with front-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive. So they're both on the same line.
Yeah, I think it's 26.78, 78 or something like that.
What car is the Ford?
It's a Taurus, and it's an all-wheel drive vehicle. And I went down and drove one last Friday, and they handled very, very well. I drove an Explorer also, very nice, and then I bought a Tahoe last year, the 2-wheel drive, and it's just a very roomy, very nice vehicle also. So I just want to buy one. I'd like to at least buy one from each dealership, because they're local, they support all our youth programs and other things, so that's why I want to stay and support both of them.
How many you trading in?
2,
Two for 3. The EMA isn't gonna ask for them?
not this year. Not giving to them this year. Don't want to at least.
Are you replacing 3?
I'm replacing 2.
So you're adding a vehicle to the fleet?
Yes. Yes. They got, what happened is, before I came in, one year, the sheriff, there's a rotation they go off of. They had like 3 vehicles a year. That way, when the 5 years is up on the one, they replace them. Well, one year, he did not ask for any vehicles at all, and they got behind. And the next year, he only got 2. So we got, the 2 I'm trading in, one has like 278,000 miles on it. The other one has, the car has 198,000 miles on it, in valid. The Tahoe's one with like 278.
What kind of a trade-in value did you get?
Have no idea yet. They haven't. I just told they knew I'm bringing them out to trade in. Last year I didn't have any. Well, we traded in the mobile command last year, I think it was. I gave the 2 vehicles to the EMA and they gave me the mobile command to trade in. I don't remember what we got out there. 2,500.
All right. How many, after you buy these 3 cars, how many cars will you have? How many cars will the sheriff's department have?
Yeah, here. $16, $15 or 16. Each deputy has, we have a van. It's 13. We have 2 reserve vehicles. Yeah, we'll have 15.
Okay.
16.
So then you trade these 2 off, you're still gonna have the van and 3
Right.
reserve vehicles.
Right until supposedly we have the guy that joined the military that we have to hold his job for 5 years, comes back in July. Then I will have 1 reserve vehicle because I'll have to issue in one of the cars that's out back. I have 13 officers, or 12 officers myself, make 13. Reserve vehicle, make 14. Van, 15. 15. The van is I think it was bought in 2010. And it's about every 5 years on it. It's a transport vehicle. Steel inside it for that.
Well, I don't, and I guess I don't understand bidding 3 vehicles and taking 3 different bids from 2 different dealers. But if that's your recommendation, I certainly won't. You know, it's your department to run, and the council appropriated monies.
I'll make a motion, we allow John to buy his vehicles as requested.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to allow the sheriff to proceed with buying the vehicles that he has requested. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Anything else?
We're painting the inside of the jail right now. We did buy paint, patching it and trying to make it look a little better. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Let's get Larry.
Jeff? Yes, you have any comments today?
No, I have nothing prepared, but
Well, why don't you just come up to the microphone for a minute?
Certainly.
We'll introduce our new Economic Development Director, Jeff Sheridan. And
Thank you.
welcome, Jeff. This is the first Commissioners meeting you've been able to attend, so
Indeed.
we're glad to have you here and glad to have you on board. And
thank you very much. Very happy to be here. I'll answer any questions if you like.
Is there any questions for you?
Just one thing, you introduced the presenters from Pioneer the other day, and I didn't get to stay for the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
On their abatement.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like a good opportunity. Do I understand that we're maybe in competition with another location?
That's correct. This is a preliminary application so that we can make the most competitive position. As I understand it, we're competing with one other site within the state of Indiana and then a site in Iowa. So there's 3 possible locations for this investment.
And this is roughly almost a $14 million investment and
That's
28
right.
new employees.
Very much so. It's a very significant investment.
Okay. Well,
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Thank you
Welcome,
very much.
and you're welcome to come back anytime. to our
I'll
meetings.
probably be here for most of
And,
them. Thank you very much.
Maybe we'll get a report from you periodically.
I'll absolutely be glad to. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, go ahead.
Greg, did you receive a quote from Peel Landscaping or to do the yard work cut?
Prolong.
Oh, Peel Prolong? Okay, well, I can read it. I mean, he offered to do the courthouse and the jail lawns with the spray applications for the weeds, crabgrass, and grubs at the amount of $300 per spraying with up to 4 sprayings, not to exceed 4 sprayings for the year.
Well, actually, there's 1 spraying for the weeds,
Right.
and the other 3 applications is a dry
Yes.
chemical
Yes.
fertilizer.
Eldon's Elite was doing it, and he can no longer do it this year. And Peel's is basically the same that we have. I do know that we did away with that for a couple of years, and we really got some, well, remarks in the newspaper about the weeds in the courthouse lawn, and I'd like not to have that reoccur.
I agree. I'm just a little unprepared for this.
We don't have to decide today.
On a similar note, the Purdue agronomist, you met with him Or if he's an intern or?
That is a
Landscape architect.
that is a landscape architect, which has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
What he has done, they had that stuff, and a student needed a project to do the landscape. Since we were talking about the courthouse, I told him Tipton Courthouse. So I did meet with him, I did show him. In fact, he requested, do we have a overlay of the courthouse property here?
Maybe downstairs, I'm not sure.
I don't think they even find that. But that's his project, that he's gonna come up with a landscape
Is that
design.
on GIS website?
It could be.
Jeff's shaking his head. It should be.
GIS or the surveyor,
Yeah.
maybe Steve.
It should be, yeah.
No, that is just for what his project is, what he would recommend as and there's nothing, doing no work. This is strictly for the weed control. Do you want to think about it?
Yes, I would like to.
All right.
And when we get, Mike was gonna get back with us something on the trees, and maybe all that, you know, we've got this in January, I think we've got some time.
Okay. We'll see if we can't find that proposal and vote on it later then, right?
And also in that proposal is for mowing, for the courthouse and the jail. I talked to John, and he said he didn't think he was gonna use the inmates this year. So that part of the proposal was for 125 mowing, each mowing as needed. I mean, no more than once a week. Dry spell may not need it for 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
But that's included in the bid?
Yeah.
No, this is
Okay.
separate for mowing. And also, in that bid for mowing, I said I would trim all the shrubs and no charge.
We'll get Greg to dig that out where we can officially look at it.
I will say that I use high-quality fertilizer, and I could give you all kinds of references of people that are, I mean, I've done a lot of Eldon's work. Eldon sent customers to me, and they've been very pleased. And I have full faith in my product and what it will do. I mean, second year, you really start seeing the results in the second year. First year, it helps. Second year is much better. I think what we're looking at here needs to be, when people coming through and everybody living here needs to be proud of the yard, so.
Sure.
I mean, it
I
reflects
agree.
on the town,
Yeah, I don't think you'll get any argument here.
so.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just, that's fine, if you want to table, think about it. But Greg has that, I brought that in early January, around 15th, I think it was. So,
And maybe we can just put a copy in our folder for our next meeting.
And I am licensed with the state, Indiana State Chemist Office, and my business is licensed also. So. And I carry, the insurance information is also in that packet.
All right, very good. Okay, thank you. We want to go to appointments next. Ron Warren is not here. We're ahead of schedule a little bit. The other thing we've got is the SEDS resolution. What do you guys want to go to appointments, or you want to go to this SEDS resolution? You guys have any suggestions? I didn't really get the SEDS resolution. It's in our packet. Oh, okay. There's a picture of it. Well, Ron Warren's not here. We're ahead of schedule, so
I'm prepared to do the appointments, if that's, but I don't care.
He's got the apartment book out in the street.
okay, hang on just a minute. I just got this letter from Jason. Is this correct? He's talking about the appointments for the drainage board.
See, correct? What's that sheet show?
What are we talking about? Wyatt Johnson. Drainage board. Wyatt Johnson's term, when does it expire?
I thought we already voted on it.
January 17th, 2013.
Yeah.
When would we, in our, I thought we took care of that in our appointments on our first meeting.
I thought we did too.
I thought we did too. I thought we addressed the drainage board, that you were taking Jane's place on the drainage board. Phil taking Eddie
This is
Sloan's.
not the last sheet, but yes, that's.
Did we do that?
I thought the only thing we had was, I thought the drainage board was done.
I do too. But we got a letter this morning from Jason Henderson.
Those dates are third.
Well, let's just,
Those dates are dated.
let's just deal with it, make sure.
Let me check if that. I can look at
Let's just, hey,
Well, is it on the minutes?
huh?
it. Should be on.
That's what I'm looking at, minutes.
Did we do the appointments at the first meeting?
Yeah, that was the.
So that would have been, that would be these minutes, that would have been on
We don't have a copy of that first one.
January 3rd. Yeah, that was.
Well, did you want to look it up? We want to get this right. If we didn't,
Give me just a second.
Let's just-
I'll be right back.
I can make the appointment to the Alliance Oversight Board if you want to deal with that now.
Alliance Oversight.
Ambulance.
Bill Horner, ambulance
Ambulance.
oversight.
Hang on a minute.
Ambulance Oversight.
Hang on.
We got Planning Commission, BCA,
I'll bring it here before we do this.
Oversight Board.
Probably should. We'll have, that'll give me time. Great.
I'll go get coffee.
Are you going to do anything?
No, go get coffee, Jeff.
Okay.
2-minute recess.
Where are you going, to McDonald's? Jeff? Do you have any comments today?
No, I have nothing prepared, but
Well, why don't you just come up to the microphone for a minute?
Certainly.
We'll introduce our new Economic Development Director, Jeff Sheridan. And
Thank you.
welcome, Jeff. This is the first Commissioners meeting you've been able to attend, so
Indeed.
we're glad to have you here and glad to have you on board. And
thank you very much. Very happy to be here. I'll answer any questions if you like.
Is there any questions for you?
Just one thing, I noticed you introduced the presenters from Pioneer the other day, and I didn't get to stay for the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
On their abatement.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like a good opportunity. Do I understand that we're maybe in competition with another location?
That's correct. This is a preliminary application so that we can make the most competitive position. As I understand it, we're competing with one other site within the state of Indiana and then a site in Iowa. So there's 3 possible locations for this investment.
And this is roughly almost a $14 million investment and
That's
20
right.
new employees.
Very much so. It's a very significant investment.
Okay. Well,
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Thank you
Welcome,
very much.
and you're welcome to come back anytime. to our
I'll
meetings.
probably be here for most of them.
And,
Okay, thank you very much.
Maybe we'll get a report from you periodically.
I'll absolutely be glad to. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, go ahead.
Greg, did you receive a quote from Peel Landscaping or to do the arbor cut? Oh, Peel Prolong? Okay, well, I can read it. I mean, he offered to do the courthouse and the jail lawns with the spray applications for the weeds, crabgrass, and grubs at the amount of $300 per spraying with up to 4 sprayings, not to exceed 4 sprayings for the year.
Well, actually, there's one spraying for the weeds,
Okay.
and the other 3 applications is a dry
Yes.
chemical
Yes.
fertilizer.
Eldon's Elite was doing it, and he can no longer do it this year. and Peels is basically the same that we have. I do know that we did away with that for a couple of years, and we really got some, well, remarks in the newspaper about the weeds in the courthouse lawn, and I'd like not to have that reoccur.
I agree, I'm just a little unprepared for this.
We don't have to
And
decide today.
On a similar note, the Purdue agronomist, you met with him? Or he's an intern, or?
That is a
Landscape architect.
That is a landscape architect, which has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
What he has done, they had that stuff, and a student needed a project to do the landscape. Since we were talking about the courthouse, I told him Tipton Courthouse. So I did meet with him, I did show him. In fact, he requested, do we have a overlay of the courthouse property here?
Maybe downstairs, I'm not sure.
Where would they even find that? But that's his project, that he's gonna come up with a landscape
Is that on
design.
our GIS website?
It could be.
Jeff's shaking his head, it should be.
GIS or the surveyor,
Yeah.
maybe Steve.
It should be,
So that is just for what his project is, what he would recommend as and there's nothing, doing no work. This is strictly for the weed control. Do you want to think about it?
Yes, I would like to.
All right.
And when we get, Mike was gonna get back with us something on the trees, and maybe all that, we've got this in January, I think we've got some time.
Okay. We'll see if we can't find that proposal and vote on it later then, right?
And also in that proposal is for mowing for the courthouse and the jail. I talked to John, and he said he didn't think he was going to use the inmates this year. So that part of the proposal was for 125 mowing, each mowing as needed. I mean, no more than once a week. Dry spell may not need it for 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
But that's included in the bid?
No, this is separate for mowing. And also, in that bid for the mowing, I said I would trim all the shrubs and no charge.
We'll get Greg to dig that out where we can officially look at it.
And I will say that I use high-quality fertilizer, and I could give you all kinds of references of people that are, I've done a lot of Eldon's work. Eldon sent customers to me, and they've been very pleased. And I have full faith in my product and what it will do. Second year, you really start seeing the results in the second year. First year, it helps. Second year is much better. I think what we're looking at here needs to be, when people coming through and everybody living here needs to be proud of the yards.
Sure.
It
I
reflects
agree.
on the towns.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get any argument here. Okay.
So, yeah, that's fine if you want to table, think about it. But Greg has that, I brought that in early January, around 15th, I think it was.
And maybe we can just put a copy in our folder for our next meeting.
And I am licensed with the state, Indiana State Chemist Office, and my business is licensed also. And I carry, the insurance information is also in that packet.
Very good. Okay, thank you. We want to go to appointments next. Ron Warren is not here. We're ahead of schedule a little bit. The other thing we've got is the SEDS resolution. What do you guys want to go to appointments, or you want to go to this SEDS resolution? You guys have any suggestions? I didn't really get the SEDS resolution. It's in our packet. Oh, okay.
It's a picture of it.
Well, Ron Moore's not here, we're ahead of schedule, so
I prefer to do the appointments, that's, but I don't care.
He's got the department book out, let's go.
Okay, hang on just a minute. I just got this letter from Jason. Is this correct? He's talking about the appointment for the drainage board.
See, correct? What's that sheet show?
What about Wyatt Drainage Board, Wyatt Johnson's term, when does it expire?
I thought we already moved on there.
January 17th, 2013.
Yeah.
When would we have, in our, I thought we took care of that in our appointments on our first meeting.
I thought we did too.
I thought we did too. I thought we addressed the drainage board, that you were taking Jane's place on the drainage board. Phil taking Eddie
This is
Sloan's.
not the last sheet, but yes, that's.
Did we do that?
I thought the only thing we had was, I thought the drainage board was done.
I do too. But we got a letter this morning from Jason Henderson.
Those dates are third.
Well, let's just,
Those dates are dated.
let's just deal with it, make sure.
Let me check that. I can look at my,
Let's just, hey,
Well, is it on the minutes?
huh?
it should be on.
That's what I'm looking at, minutes.
Did we do the appointments at the first meeting? No?
Yeah, that was the.
So that would have been, that wouldn't be these minutes, that would have been on
We don't have a copy of that first one.
January 3rd. Yeah, that was.
Well, did you want to look it up? We want to get this right. If we didn't,
Give me just a second.
Let's just-
I'll be right back.
I can make the appointment to the Alliance Oversight Board if you want to deal with that now.
Alliance Oversight.
Ambulance.
Bill Horner, ambulance
Ambulance.
oversight.
Hang on a minute.
Ambulance oversight.
Hang on.
We got Planning Commission, BCA,
Don't bring it here before we do this.
Oversight Board.
Probably should. We'll have, that'll give me time. Great. I'll go get coffee. Are you gonna do anything?
No, go get coffee, Joe.
Okay.
2-minute recess.
Where are you going, to McDonald's? Yeah, let's just take a 5-minute break then.
I was going to do it. He responded back with minutes and stuff.
Hey, that thing you said, the drainage board,
Are they in German?
we're on a 5-minute recess. I got the Go ahead, say what you're thinking.
No, I was going to come up here and say that he responded with the minutes and sent them back, so I imagine he still wants to serve.
Yeah, he wants to serve. But his appointment, according to the sheets, is not up until the end of 13. That came from
She's wrong.
Wait a minute, let me get this recorded wrong. You said who's wrong?
Jane.
You said Jane Harper is wrong?
Right.
Jason, get that on tape.
We're in recess.
Where the is it, Jane? She had all red.
I'll give a report.
I'd say, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Make sure. Jason says that in the record that you had was up for Jane.
It's wrong, okay.
So, all right, well, what we did is,
Because
thought he was back.
See, they showed Wyatt Johnson to
Right.
2013. And he says that she's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should, him
So
and
is that
Debbie should be
two-
back one,
Huh?
back up one.
Both of them should be backed up one, right? So let's just, how many year appointment is this?
3.
It's a 3-year appointment?
Yes, it's a 3-year.
I'll just make the motion, we reappoint Wyatt Johnson, 3 years. Let's get it straight. And then Greg can get the sheet updated.
Yeah, they updated correctly, yes.
Did you hear that Tebby's is also one year off?
Yes, Tebby will expire at the end of this year.
You just settle that way, the president. I'm gonna make the motion to reappoint him to a 3-year term.
Do you think he hasn't been reappointed in our first meeting?
No, yeah, the record has.
But he's already revised some of the minutes and sent them back, so obviously he still wants to participate.
Well, I know he does because he called me and I told him that I was, so it's my mistake.
Okay, call our meeting back to order then.
I will make a motion, we reappoint Wyatt Johnson to the Drainage Board for a 3-year term.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, second on the floor, to reappoint Wyatt Johnson to the Drainage Board for a 3-year term. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay,
Planning Commission. We need to fill Jim Ashley's spot with us.
yes.
I'm gonna make a motion, we appoint Carol Coogie to the Planning Commission.
That is the Ashley spot of the BOC. Second.
We have a motion, second on the floor, to make an appointment to the Plan Commission to replace Jim Ashley, and that is Carol Cohey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, in that case, while we're talking about that, it appears that his term will expire at the end of December in 2015.
This is a new appointment, so this will be the full term. Or is that a rotating basis?
He's filling an expired term.
All right.
See, if you didn't, you'd have to change
That's
the
good.
dates and the stagger.
That's good.
So his term will expire then, Greg, just like Jim Ashley's would have if Jim would still be on the first page.
December 15th or December 15th.
Got it?
Another one we got to fill the BZA, right?
Yes, because it's, we have an opening, we have Mark Noble's opening, because Mark was appointed to the Plan Commission because his term expired, so this is a
The BOC citizen member appointment from that Mark Noble.
Yes, right.
Yes.
And I've talked to Doc Hughes. I'd like to nominate Jack Hughes to fill the spot on the BZA.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to appoint Dr. Jack Hughes to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And that would be a 4-year term. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Is that all you've got, Bill?
That's the ones I've talked to.
The ambulance oversight board, I worked on that for 2 weeks and ended up with not much luck, and then had 2 people call me the same day that wanted the job. So I would nominate Gene Matchett
You say he's on
He is presently on the
the
Sharpsville Ambulance Board, but that's not another appointment position.
And didn't have any problems with the ambulance oversight visits?
No.
All right, I'll second that. I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint Gene Matchett to the Ambulance Oversight Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. What about that term?
That is, he's filling in the unexpired term of Phil Horner, which would expire December 14th.
So he's got 2 years left. Okay.
I'll get you that contact information for him. Great.
Is that the end of our appointment list that we need to?
That's all that I know of that we're missing.
I think.
Except the city planning commission.
And I don't have that done yet.
Yes, we haven't found a person that wants to sit on the city.
Okay. All right, very good.
You talking about this?
Go ahead.
The plaster repair, you know, we had a major water leak between the second and third story on the landing, and I have
On the south wall.
a quote here to repair it, which is gonna require removing down to the brick and go. So, you got any questions on that?
It's the same guy that's been doing.
Same guy's been doing all the plaster repair, I imagine.
Does that, I shouldn't have asked this question, but does this finish us in the building for plaster repair?
No, that will not finish it. That will get everything in the building except the insurance office.
This is on the south side of the land where you looking. All right. And how do you propose to pay for this? Out of courthouse renovation or maintenance?
Then I make a motion, we engage with Mr. Pickering Interiors to repair the plaster that was damaged between the second and third floor in the amount of $1,500.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to have Pickering's continue the work in the courthouse. Repair plaster and painting on the landing between the second and third floor. All those for $1,500. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
It was enough.
Yes.
Very probably okay. We got minutes.
Okay, let's go to the minutes.
I haven't had time to do
Hey Greg, did you ever get our first meeting minutes on electronic?
I have not yet. I can forward them today. I can do that.
John
I've
Brooks,
got them in the office.
John Brooks is still requesting copies of our minutes.
Yes, I attempted to last night. I forgot to do the attachment.
But he didn't get them last night.
No, he
So-
didn't.
So we need to
I resent
resend
them this morning.
Huh?
Either do we.
We need.
I resent them this morning.
You did, they said?
Yes,
And John on that list.
yes.
Okay.
He was on the list, but the technical wasn't.
Good intentions, but never forgot the attachment.
Yeah.
the NDOT railroad meeting. Did that ever happen? Or did I miss it?
I wasn't there either.
Did it?
No.
I didn't see where
I
they
never
come.
heard a finalized date on
Well,
that.
that's what I,
No.
you gave them some dates, and then I just
Yeah.
never heard any more about it. So I just noticed it here.
That was last week.
It seemed like they were rather aggressive to have the meeting. Maybe they just had the meeting.
That was dates last week. We never heard back from it.
Right. Well, that's what I assumed.
It was Thursday and Friday last week.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wish we'd asked Brett if he'd heard anything from him.
No, he hasn't yet either.
Okay, all right, well, then it's not an emergency. so we're worried about it.
That could be another $50,000 on that project.
Yeah. Yeah, if we have to have the cantilevers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got that covered bridge thing taken care of, too.
Yeah. Have to visit that again next year.
Hey, while we're talking, Moses will use that, but the jail's really report for the local law should only include the courthouse.
We need to have that discussion with him, just to make sure, with John and Nate, to see if he's changed his mind on that.
Well, the board, because that's still on the property. I'll talk to him about that.
What's that, Phil?
Trustee is, the jail trustee has always been the one that mowed the jail out. Last year when they encompassed the courthouse. And we just heard that he wasn't going to do that, so I'll check base and see what John has planned for next week.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out at all.
No, I don't think we'll go for the best.
Here or over there, either one.
You okay, Lutz?
I think so.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as written for January 14th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the minutes as presented for January 14th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do something with that one from Jason. That's the you. That's me.
Here's Greg. Gene Matchett's contact.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Resolution. And any comments or questions before I read it?
You might explain what you're reading is what Stephen Ray talked about.
Okay. Yeah, at our last meeting, Stephen Ray from Okra was here and mentioned to us, brought up the topic of the SEDS, which is the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. We have local people who were on that committee to help develop this. And the bottom line for this is the fact that if we have this SEDS document in place that we have approved, then it opens up the door for federal grants that we're not currently, that our economic development group that we belong to, North Central Indiana Economic Development Group, is not, those grants are not available to us without, this is just a step, the federal government says you have to do this before we will do the next thing, which would make us at least eligible for those grants. So that's why we are doing this. That's why we've spent the time for the past year helping develop this SEDS document, and it is ready for adoption. Commissioners all attended a meeting at IUK with the North Central Indiana Economic Development Group, and we've already heard this information. So now the next step is for the counties to adopt this, and they want that done by the end of January. So that's where we are today. So I will go ahead and read Resolution 2013-02, the Tipton County Commissioners approving the 2012 5-year Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy which is SEDS. Whereas the U.S. Economic Development Administration, EDA, requires the submission of a comprehensive economic development strategy, SEDS, from counties to maintain eligibility for EDA grant and loan programs. Whereas the counties of North Central Indiana, Cass, Clinton, Fulton, Howard, Miami, and Tipton have reviewed the 2012 SEDS and find that it reflects the development needs of North Central Indiana. Whereas the 2012 SEDS of North Central Indiana may serve as said report for the 6 counties in North Central Indiana with each county's concurrence, and now therefore be it resolved that the 2012 SEDS be approved to meet the eligibility requirements for the grant and loan program administered by the U.S. Economic Development Administration, adopted this 20th day of January 2013, Tipton County Commissioners.
Any questions?
Do you want to say anything about this, Jeff?
Only that I also attended the first meeting in January of this same group, and I'm very familiar with the process and absolutely agree that it's a step that the county needs to take and could lead to some additional help in the future. So I fully support doing it and appreciate that you're a step ahead.
Should we have done it? It's going to cost us a membership.
Not necessarily. That's, and the presentation follows what the next step is. This is step 1
Yeah,
here.
you're right.
Okay.
You okay, Jeff?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2013-02.
We have a motion second on the floor to adopt resolution 2013-02. Tipton County Commissioners approving the 2012 5-year comprehensive economic development strategy. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Do you have one for us to sign, Greg?
Yes. Have 2 copies signed, please.
And you might, if you want to lead a little bit of discussion with Jeff on that, getting prepared to have someone kind of speak from that group.
We can tell Jeff.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
One of the things, when we had the meeting with the SEDS of Howard County Water Board, they said they would bring somebody to give us a presentation before we adopt this.
Didn't they say they were going to have a meeting with all of us
Yes.
before they do that? Do you know when we're having a meeting, when the next meeting scheduled of that group?
I do not, off the top of my head, but I can find out pretty quick.
Need to find out and see when they'll be willing to come and give us a presentation.
Sure. This is the next step.
All right.
And if they form a new regional group, basically to manage this
Right.
document and so forth.
Right.
But then there was going, it seemed like to me that they were going to call the group back together, but then there would be representatives, people like you, Jim, Ted, whoever,
Right.
who would go to the different counties and present an appeal to go to this next step.
I believe that's correct. I think it's sometime in February, but I'll find out for sure.
Okay. All right.
All right? I'll let you know.
Okay. Thanks. We're not doing that today. We're not prepared for that. That's what we're talking to Jeff. That requires another meeting of the group, and then that will require a presenter to come here. That needs to be done, they want it done in the first quarter. So we've got some time on that. So maybe Jeff can let you know
Sure.
what the plan is, whether we're doing a meeting and then a presenter, or
Okay.
what we're doing, so that he can be prepared to have that on our agenda. Ron Warren?
You got a copy? I got 2 copies.
Yeah, I got one, yeah. Morning, Ron.
Good morning. I'm just presenting a request to extend the print management agreement we had on all of your printers and copiers. We've had the agreement for 2 years, and it expired the first of this year, and I'd like to extend that under the same terms and conditions for an additional year. all of the offices, I believe, at least most of them, were notified prior to the budget hearings last summer so that they could estimate what their cost would be this year for print management. So that, I think that they probably all got that built into their budgets already. And next summer, prior to budget hearings, I will contact the different departments, and some of them are going to be needing to upgrade some of their equipment at that time, since none of it's been upgraded for the past going on 3 years. So we'll get that. I'll get with the departments and we'll get that worked in the budgets for the following year.
This was just,
Same as we've had the last 2 years.
and it's just a contract that,
I make a motion, we renew the Ramsey, for the print management agreement between Ramsey Business Solutions and Tipton County for the year 2013.
We have a motion second to extend the print management agreement with Ramsey Business Solutions for 1 year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Same agreement?
You need a copy?
I've got a copy here somewhere.
I got some. You need a copy, Ron? I've got a spare copy.
I've got a copy.
I've got.
I don't have a signed copy.
You want it?
Here, we've got a spare right here. That's fair.
here, you just need one signature.
It's just your signature.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just your signature.
Who needs to initial that? Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
What do we not, what have we missed on our agenda?
Nothing?
We've got everything on the agenda.
Yeah, we talk about that.
We need to take care of who's leaving from this board here. Greg, can you give us an update on the jail / courthouse? How many,
There are.
what's in our packet is the most current list that you
Yes,
have?
that's current as of this
Do
morning.
you know how many there are?
No, there's
30.
Okay. Okay, what's the board's wishes as far as which commissioner is going to lead the charge on this?
I thought Joe was leading the charge on it.
Not sure I like the term leading the charge. I'll help you out.
About pushing the train?
Pushing the train.
Well, our talk was that in addition to these people that want to start talking, we thought it would be nice to have at least a commissioner part of it and helping with it.
I'll do
And so we were, I nominate Joe to be our representative with the jail.
I'll second that. And you're more than happy to do it.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, it's just,
Well,
I think a
it's not
long,
dead.
or could be a long process.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have a motion second on the floor then to appoint Joe Van Bibber as the lead commissioner on the jail courthouse study committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Joe. Jim, Powell, is the council going to appoint someone, or have they already, or a couple of people?
I guess
board aware that you want us to, but you want one member, two members, how many?
Well, I certainly want to, Jennifer Ritchie has volunteered
Okay.
on this list, but, I just,
And she's the only one off the council that had put her name on this list.
and I won't be, I don't think, or this is my concept of the committee and how this process ought to work. And just like I think the council probably should have someone there too. If this is going to be a community-driven endeavor, I don't think myself as a commissioner should muddy up the process. The same way with a council member, but I do think someone should be there to say that an elected official, when something comes out of this committee that they just feel will not work, then they're office.
Well, I tried that.
What they tell them. You tried that before they were approved.
I tried that before.
They weren't, because they weren't approved before. They should be available now.
So you can, after the meeting, you can go make that request for today's claims.
I've asked for them in the past and haven't received them.
But
So I was asking if someone from the board could put that in.
Here, I'll tell you what, we got those electronically this Friday.
Yeah, there was a couple of corrections.
Oh, yeah, that one pulled out, yeah.
I mean, I can wait for one that gets corrections. I mean, obviously I'd like to. That's all I have.
I have lots of paperwork, I'm not the auditor. That's payroll.
State law changed, and you don't have to do that anymore. Do you need a copy of this?
I don't have a copy of it.
Do you
but I-
need one to? I'll let.
um,
Oops, I'm sorry. They didn't even throw it at you.
Well, he did that on purpose.
Okay. Bill?
Okay. Bill, you had asked at the last meeting about the camera system, if it could, if I could find one that had a 32 camera setup, and I did. What you're going to see here is a quote from a company called Apex CCTV. You'll see there under the itemized hardware investment, you're going to see a 16-port video recorder that is capable of being upgraded to a 32-port, 4 terabytes worth of storage of video images, which would give us approximately 2 months before it would flip over and record over the oldest image. We were able to, though, find some fisheye cameras rather than bullet-type cameras, where you put a fisheye camera in the middle of the room, or in the middle out here. It would then be able to take a look at the entire floor. So instead of going with 16 cameras, you can do this with 4. Does not require special cabling. This is all done with network category 6 cable, power over Ethernet, so we wouldn't have to run individual power to each camera. The fisheye camera is just a lens that looks at just a top-down image. The software that drives that is extraordinarily powerful. You can go out, get the video extracts, you can move the cameras down, the views down where you can see things. Much easier. Extraordinarily powerful stuff. This cost of $5,031 does not include running the cable. That's $200 per run.
200 per camera,
Yes,
so $800.
$800. Correct. That's a rack mount system. It would go into the rack in the server room. Has a DVR or a DVD burner on it, so you could make video extracts. And this is something that dispatch would be able to look at.
Okay. Any questions?
And you think with using the fisheye cameras, you could solve the same problem that you could with the 16 cameras?
Yes.
The only thing that I might add is, noticed last week, Jim, you can help me with this, they were putting in security cameras at the golf course. Those apparently are fisheye cameras because they're ceiling. It just might be something you might call across the street to find out what they did and how, because they were there one day running that wiring, weren't they?
It's much cheaper than that too, but obviously not as much area.
Yeah, I do remember how they said 4 cameras. I didn't hear that, but I heard a number of 35, but that's just, I thought we're looking at cheap. Just something to look at.
So who's he need to call?
Well, I assume the mayor.
Okay.
Or the clerk treasurer's
Yeah.
office.
Okay.
And they could give you a name, or maybe Rusty took care of that as a department head.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see, so I think you talked to them.
Yeah, I don't, but it's one of those. Okay.
Well,
John,
wait, I want to see what.
Can I ask
Yeah.
Bill a question on that, Bill, or you guys, does that resolve the situation Debbie thought she had in her office? Does that handle the entry doors?
That looks at the outside of each one of the doors. So if the door is closed and they're attempting to get in, the camera would see that.
The one downstairs would take care of,
No, you have one on each floor.
okay, so the one downstairs, would that look at the doors, the entry doors?
Mhm.
So we'd see all the entry doors?
So any activity that come up the stairs when in the elevator,
Not within the elevator,
No,
but
that
as
went
the door opens.
yeah.
yeah.
Entered the elevator.
Yeah.
Downstairs, could that actually see all 4 doors with the stairways and elevators and what?
That's why you get a fisheye, because it can see everything.
I was just trying to think whether there's a clear view from the north to the south.
On the first floor, what you're going to do is you're looking at not this door, but the one coming into the first floor. Okay, the one that's the single door.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one the first floor would see. The second floor camera would see this one and see who would be coming up these stairs over here.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing is that we've been getting a lot of requests for public access to records and that kind of stuff. And we don't really have a rule right at the moment, but you might want to consider putting something in that says that all those requests go to the county attorney so that we are 100% sure that we're complying with public access laws before we just start handing stuff out. That way, everybody's covered, everybody's happy. There's no issues that way.
Okay.
Okay?
John Brooks should advise us on.
We've got this for, if he's being requested, he should not be
Calling
calling
it
already,
already,
which I
yeah.
think he is. I think he's already doing it.